Good morning and welcome back to another episode of our Migo Suzuki Tiger Valley podcast. In fact, it's episode 3 already that we are doing now. And I'm your host, Evan from Last 7, and today we are going to be diving into Suzuki's commercial lineup. The hard-working Suzuki Super Carry and, as you all know, be acquainted with the Suzuki Eco. With me, as usual, our dealer principal, Sean Polly. Good morning to you, Sean.
Good morning, all.
Our sales manager, Neville Steenkamp.
Morning.
And we're also joined today by our special guest from Suzuki South Africa. He is the brand marketing manager. Good morning to you, Brendon Carpenter.
Morning, Evan. Good to be here.
Now, thank you very much. So, just for our listeners out there, at the end of the program, we will be taking up your questions. So, during the course of the program or this podcast, line up your questions and hand them in to us or get that questions rolling in. At the end of the program, we will be listening to that and answer them for you. So let's get the show on the road. And Brendon, I'm going to start off with you. Now, we're going to start off with the Suzuki Super Carry. And the Suzuki Super Carry has been a loyal workhorse for small and medium businesses, as we all know that. Now, from your experience with customers, and I'm sure that you get in touch with customers all the time, what makes it such a dependable choice in the commercial segment?
I think for us, the Super Carry has been a very important introduction to the Suzuki lineup. Now, it's just been over 9 years that we've introduced it late in 2016. The Super Carry has been like the stalwart of the commercial segment for Suzuki and our entrance into the light commercial vehicle segment. So what makes it stand out, obviously, is the fact that it's affordable. Its price point under 200,000 Rand represents a really good value proposition for those looking for a workhorse. Obviously, we know in terms of features and specification, it might not have all the bells and whistles, but that's what sets it apart from the competition, is because you pay a premium for those things. And I think a strong dealer support network like the guys we have here at Suzuki Tiger Valley and the Mico Group, I mean, that dependability of the product itself, but then also the support that we have through the Suzuki dealer network really gives us a good viable option for small to medium businesses and those that represent the lifeblood of the South African economy.
Yeah. Because you've mentioned a very important point there, which I thought might have an influence on selling it, but it does on the sales, but it doesn't. And you mentioned the price point below 200,000, and I thought to myself at first, the bells and whistles, that's not there, but it doesn't seem to make a dent in the market.
100%. I think what we want is a vehicle that is dependable. And not saying that any additional specifications and features will make it less dependable, but it's a vehicle that's there to go and get work done. And that was our price or our model positioning when we launched the car back in 2016, is to say the Super Carry gets work done. And that's that dependable workhorse that you have. And I think you've got a variety of different people that drive it. And in a lot of the cases, you do have the owner that actually buys it, that drives it themselves. And also, as we've seen it being taken up in the market across South Africa, when you see a Super Carry driver, they always have a smile on their face, because you know
Yes.
what they're not spending a lot on running costs, they're not spending a lot of maintenance costs. They are getting the work done, not just for themselves, but for their clients. And when their clients are happy, they are happy. And I think the Super Carry is just playing its part in developing their businesses and growing their careers.
I think it was one of the best taglines we could have gotten there, just like to get work done. Neville,
Yes.
you ready?
Yeah. Shoot.
I'm going to shoot you. No, it's not going to be a curveball. So, Neville, when customers come in and looking for the light commercial vehicle, I mean, we get hundreds of them through our doors. What are the most common things, like you said, they are looking for, and how does the Super Carry meet those needs?
So Brendon already touched on a couple of those points. So basically, the big thing is cost of ownership. So small businesses, medium businesses, they're looking for low overheads, looking for a vehicle to run, a dependable vehicle, low cost of ownership, doesn't cost a lot to maintain, doesn't break at all. It's one of the toughest workhorses, the little small vehicle that it is, one of the toughest workhorses on the market, hence its positioning on the market as well. So low cost of ownership, as I mentioned, and dependability. and also a pricing point. It's you don't get something like this vehicle in the market at that price point to spend to give you that value for money at the end of the day and to build your business, as Brendon mentioned as well.
I think the price point is one of the most important factors that we are dealing with. And Sean, I wonder if you can tell us maybe how that benefit businesses, especially those operating in urban or delivery environments.
Well, as yourself and Brendon mentioned earlier on, the value proposition is a wonderful starting point and something that we will always focus on, because what are the chances of being able to purchase a vehicle with the size of load box that the vehicle comes with at the sub 200,000 Rand price point? And then you need a whole 9 square meters to do a full turning circle in the vehicle. So, to move around in these narrow city streets, it's clearly a very practical design. And you're sitting with a load box that's 2.2 meters long and 1.5 meters wide. So, in terms of the category the vehicle finds itself in, it's almost got an abundance of capacity, considering what you're paying for the vehicle, and then it's rated to carry a 3/4 of a ton. So all these small to medium enterprises, all these entrepreneurship driven businesses are really able to do so well out of making use of this vehicle versus buying something 15 or 20 years old that has done 500,000 kilometers and will still cost them 200,000 Rand. Yeah. So that's my response.
And I'll normally see, when I do see customers walking in the showroom, and specifically going for a super carry, specifically, I always see them with a tape measure.
Yes, always.
I mean, you have, you've told us now the measurements, everything, but in the eyes of the customer, they feel that with a 1.2 engine, it's a small vehicle. That's why obviously with a tape measure, 2 days later, driving out with one. That's how it is. Right, so, and I think now we're going over to the Suzuki Eco, our other commercial van. I think we have, is there any, Neil, do you still want to say something about the super carry?
No, I think we covered most of the super carry.
Yeah, I think
we've covered everything on that one.
I've got an interesting story from the super carry, if I may. So, in August, I just quickly, picked it up here on my phone again. We did, it was in August 2016, we did what we called the Super Carry Super Carry 750 challenge, which was obviously take its load capacity of 750 kilograms, fill it with 750 kilograms worth of stuff, and then put 750 Rands fuel in it, and then drive 750 kilometers. So that was like the 3 things we wanted to do. So what we identified was obviously Suzuki Auto South Africa's head office in Johannesburg, and we looked at where is a spot where we can drive 750 kilometers. But also we had to do it for a good cause. There's nothing just us doing a little PR exercise to see if we can drive 750 kilometers far with 750 Rands worth of fuel. So we identified a hospice in it was in Port Shepstone, so driving from Johannesburg to Port Shepstone, 750 kilometers, with 750 kilograms of stuff that they needed. So what they wanted was paint, because they had to refurbish one of the welcome centers, and then also 2 dishwashers. So we had 2 dishwashers and then the balance of paint to drive down 750 kilometers. And long story short, while back then in 2016 fuel was a little bit more affordable than what it is now, but I think at the end we managed to do 960 kilometers with that 750 Rands fuel loaded with 750 kilometers. And the reason why we did that was because we wanted to showcase, back then the vehicle was still new. We had to prove its mettle. Now I think it's done that over the last 9 years. But it's almost time where we think, hey, maybe 10 years later we should see if we can do it again. But the biggest challenge would be the fuel price. But maybe we won't reach the 750 kilometers, but it would be good to try and to see, even 10 years later, the value proposition that the Super Carry could give. And that was such a good challenge. I was physically the driver, so I drove down. I think we could.
You were the driver?
Yes, I was the driver, and we had the social media person who's not a truck person at all. from the agency joined me. So she was the co-driver, but also posting the updates and stuff on social media. So if you want to, you can search for hashtag SuperCarry750 or SuperCarry750 challenge, and some of the updates will still pull up on your social media platform. But what was interesting is 750 could fill the tank of the Super Carry. I think it still would now. It's around 33 liters when you fill it up. But we had a jerry can then for the additional of the 750 at that point. But it might be a challenge worth looking at again. And who knows, as we're going to head into the eco, maybe it's something we can do with the eco and Super Carry.
I just wanted to say, coming to my next point on the eco, maybe that challenge would do good on the eco with 615 kilometers.
For sure.
Alright, so now we're going to the eco, which has become quite popular, as we all know. I always see ecos every day of my life. I do see super carries every day of my life. I see more ecos these days, I don't know why. And it's become quite popular among businesses needing practical and enclosed, that's very, very important, enclosed transport solutions. So, can you tell us what makes the eco as a standout in this segment?
I think once again, very similar, all the characteristics that make the super carries stand out, the eco does, but as you said, in an enclosed cabin or load bay configuration. Once again, fuel efficiency, 1.2 litre engine, a great purchase price, obviously low running costs. Obviously, it also includes now a bunch of new features, so things like ESP, which you won't necessarily expect for a vehicle at that price range. So dual airbags, the ABS, all of that too. And I think in this very short time, if I can call it a short time that the vehicle's been on the market, it has made a very big impact. And as we know, Suzuki is a great companion, or the commercial vehicles in Suzuki's lineup are great companions for the small to medium enterprises. But I think, and the team here and the dealer here was also quite very instrumental in the Checkers, let's say, acquisition of their ecos. So I think once again from a marketing perspective, we would have liked to take credit for it, but it's not the credit of necessarily only the efforts that we've had. It was just a natural contribution or natural interest into this product that is the eco, and through a company as big as Checkers or the ShopRite Group. And no credit to the marketing at all, but to the dealer that was also instrumental in securing that deal, because now it just enhanced the visibility of that product and showcasing that a big corporate can invest into this product, and it just proves the mettle of the eco itself as well. So well done to the team that managed to secure that too.
So don't you think that the Checkers, you spoke about the Checkers, don't you think that they were the trendsetters and other people influencing them and buying it?
I think they were the first to commit with very big numbers, and I think therein lies. And all credit to the sales team, but then also to the product itself, because the product, we know they drive all around, and I see when people see them, and for them also to create a little eco model car just showcases, you know what, this is a product that everyone can enjoy and can bring to it.
Toys you got from Checkers.
For sure.
Yeah, now it's hop. Sure. Yes. And how has the eco been received locally, in your opinion, by small businesses?
Eben, you mentioned the vast volume of ecos out on the roads, and we also, within our own business environment, we see how strong the demand is for the product, and there are just so many business applications that suit the design of and the practicality of the eco. And things like the flat loading area, the 600, and I think it's 15 kilogram load capacity in the eco, which, I mean, that's beyond.
I think 650.
615.
That's
615. So that's beyond a half ton. And if one goes back in history and we look at all these half ton vehicles that we sold in this country, now we've got a really affordable, very modern, and this is something that I very recently discovered, because I only recently had an opportunity to do a half decent drive in an eco, and I was so impressed with how the vehicle drives and how well the vehicle is finished. And it's actually quite amazing looking, the dual sliding doors, and you walk around the vehicle, you get inside it, you drive it, and you think to yourself, but how did we manage to sell this vehicle in this country with all our complicated import structures and pricing structures and taxes, that we're able to put this vehicle on the road at the price that we sell it. And it's as I think the marketing slogan for the Eco was something like, "What always open for business."
Yeah, and to go the extra mile.
Go the
so
extra mile.
for everything extra.
Yes, and that's the feeling I get from the Eco. And I mean, we just seen all the. I mean, look at the air conditioning industry. How they've bought into Eco ownership for their service crews. It just makes complete and total sense. And almost any other application, the coffee industry, same has happened there. We've sold various Ecos to coffee businesses over time. So, I mean, in my mind, it's had a huge impact on our business community.
I think that the only, how can I say, the measurements inside the Eco, that means 1620 in length, 1.3 in width, and 1070 in height or loading space. Now, I always get the question, and I think, Brendon, maybe you can just fill me out in on here. It's normally they want to take away that platform there. You know, the platform in front of the Eco. But I think it was designed in overseas as a passenger vehicle as well.
Yes, so you'll see if you open the Eco, there's that little platform that makes it a flat roof, sorry, not a flat roof, a flat floor, and there's a little gap underneath that.
Correct.
So that is in the Indian market specifically. There's a CNG, which is the compressed natural gas version of it, and that's where they typically put the tank. But because we don't have the CNG or the compressed natural gas versions or conversions in South Africa, that's where they even it out, because it will be a bit awkward to have that little hump or that little gap in the front part of it. So that's for the CNG converted ones. Why that version is, or why that gap is there, but then obviously we have the plate protecting it in the South African version itself. You mentioned something about some of the other markets too, which I just forgot what your question was on that. Yeah, but in India the CNG one that's the reason why it's got that gap.
Always we're looking for an explanation why it's there.
Yeah, that's what's nice having given you today.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut this open, I'm going to cut it here.
And I've just remembered the van version. There's also a van version in India as well, which is then a 7-seater version of the current one, which is called the it's just the Eco van, where we have the Eco panel van, which is in South Africa.
So it's got seats.
Yes, it's got actual seats.
Not seats down the side. It's actually got rows of seats.
Yes, two rows of seats. So a smaller one in the front or in the middle, and then a larger bench in the back.
Now, Neville, from a dealership perspective, I mean, what kind of feedback have you received from owners who've used this vehicle in daily operations?
Again, as we've mentioned a couple of those pros on the vehicles, the people are extremely happy. It's a matter of it's a cost-effective vehicle. The loading capacity, as we mentioned, it's for what you're paying for the vehicle. You get so much out of the car. The comfort driving of it, the little small, we mentioned the bells and whistles, where the Supercarry didn't come with bells and whistles. The Eco does have a couple of bells and whistles. It's got PDC spark and control on the back. It doesn't come standard with the radio, but you can put a radio in there. It's got air conditioning. It's got those little things that you don't necessarily get in a commercial vehicle in this segment. That it comes out from the factory with those little creature comforts in the vehicle itself. So all in all, massive great feedback from customers and clients that owns the vehicle.
One of the positive feedbacks I normally got from clowns from the clients is that, or the customers actually, is the PDC, which they haven't expected to be in an Eco.
That's a big thing.
The other one is there's no power steering, but
it doesn't drive heavy.
It doesn't drive heavy.
No.
That's why he was always insist of having a test drive, because then they will see it's not a heavy drive. And I think from a customer's perspective, they think it's going to be like sort of a Part
A
to
John
I
some-
Deere.
think,
Yeah,
I think,
it's not
and
a John
Brendon can
Deere.
correct me if I'm wrong. I think that has something to do with the whole cab over engine design. That helps the steering.
Yes.
The steering is underneath you and not up front, and I think that plays a role in the more usable turning circle without the need for power steering.
Yes, and I think the engineers often they are the ones to confirm. Is it necessary, or would it add, or would there be maybe even challenges in having a power steering system in that configuration? But funny story is when we launched it, we actually received calls from media, and I wasn't at the media launch per se. They actually went down as part of the rally to read sponsorship to take books to some of the schools. And I got a call from the person at SASA who was at the launch, and like, listen, can you confirm, does it have power steering or doesn't it have power steering? And we said, well, what does it feel like? You guys are driving the vehicle. And she's like, well, it's fine. And we said, well, let's just confirm on the spec sheet. And we said, no, it doesn't have power steering. And I said, okay, well, in that case, it showcases, whether it has or not, or doesn't, how the vehicle drive is the proof of the pudding, as they say. So it's a good experience to showcase, it doesn't need power steering for that. And the question was what the media found quite interesting is, how can it have ESP, traction control, ABS, but no power steering? Said, well, it has what it needs. And I think once again, with regards to the purchase price and the rest of those elements, I think such a good balance of features, specification, and utility for buyers in that segment.
I know when the Eco was launched, it was launched together with the Grand Vitara. It was launched on one day.
Oh.
And nobody actually drove the Eco. It was just a sideshow standing there. All the attention was on the Grand Vitara. And I had the privilege of driving it that day, and I immediately encountered the light driving, so no power steering was needed. And everybody was sort of in doubt, this is going to work, and look at it now.
Yeah, but an interesting one, and sorry to interrupt you there, it was that we on our social reporting, because it was launched on the same month, 100%. So when we did the reporting when Grand Vitara and Eco was launched, obviously we made a big hoorah about Grand Vitara because it's a flagship car, it's a big launch event. We spent money on it to get the media we sent them down to George to experience the car. And Eco, we did this charity exercise as part of the launch. But the social media interaction on Eco was way bigger than what it was on Grand Vitara, even because of the spend.
Yeah.
And it was because I think the industry almost didn't expect Suzuki to bring another Eco or another light commercial vehicle to the segment. And because they saw it first on social, that's where it blew up quite a bit, because small businesses, individuals seeking to start their small businesses, and just what I think what South Africa needs in terms of its economy. Eco represents such a big part of that it actually blew up on social media, even more so than our Grand Vitara launch, which we did in the same month.
Yeah, the exposure wasn't as big, and lots of customers came in by hearsay, there's commercial van. It was not one sort of being blown up in the media.
Yeah.
And look at it now, but just by hearsay. So I think our time is nearly up now. We had such a lekker podcast today. And finally, Brendon, just from a national brand perspective, is there something that we can expect next from Suzuki in the commercial vehicle space?
Sure. So I think the demand is always what swings it, or that swings the decision to do something. So if you, from a dealer perspective, if we get the feedback and the demand saying, listen, here is a commercial vehicle, obviously they're not going to build something specifically for the South African market alone.
Correct.
So if you look at the portfolio that is, and there are quite a few commercial options of Suzuki, Suzuki in India, Suzuki in Thailand, Suzuki in Indonesia. If we look at that product and we see, hey, it might be viable to bring something like that into South Africa, of course we can look into it. In the short term, I think we are looking to establish with the two products that we do have and make sure we secure the market on that lower end, because we don't have real big competition there. And then surely if it grows from there on, we can look at some of the other products and bring them to market too.
Now that's now years of investigation and research, and any future possibilities of any upgrades on the Eco or the Super Carry not?
Not in the short term, but obviously in terms of compliance with regards to what the regulations and would require, we will obviously always adapt them and update them
Like
with
a
regards
fan
to
in the
that.
Super Carry.
I am the Super Carry's biggest fan.
Alright, we've come to nearly the end of our show, so this is the time where I'm giving the listeners a chance to ask their questions, and we will answer them as to the best of our ability. Right, I think it's Mariki here.
Hallo, it's Mariki van Brackenfell. Ek wil net gehoor wat is die petrolverbruik op julle Super Carrier?
The fuel consumption on the Super Carry.
Ja, wat is dit? 6 liters. 6 liters to 100 kilometers.
60 to 200, ja. En dan
Yes.
as jy sê 'n super carrier, dit is 'n super carrier.
Super carrier.
The Super Carrier.
Yes.
Is it 6 liters?
It's an aircraft carrier.
Alright, so 6 liters to 100 kilometers.
Yes, very
And
common.
interesting enough, the Eco is just a dash lighter on fuel because it's got a fully enclosed cab design. So the airflow over the vehicle is slightly
Very
smoother
dynamic.
than on the Super Carry, but they're both super economical.
Right, I think Mariki, that answers your questions. I think next up is Hendrik.
Hello guys, it's Wimpy.
Oh, it's Wimpy.
So on the Suzuki Eco, I'm looking at buying one for my business. So I just want to know, what is the running cost on these Suzuki panel vans?
I think Brendon can fill us in there.
The running costs. Well, obviously, there's the fuel consumption is part of it. So, what is the Eco's fuel efficiency? It's like 5.4 liters per 100. So, let's say just under 19 kilometers per liter. At what is it now? 22 rand or 21 rand per liter. Obviously, that will give you a good estimation of what those running costs are. But what's interesting is the fact that it also comes with a warranty, so there's no repair costs and things like that you will have to budget for with a new vehicle. And I think from a dealership perspective, maybe Sean or Neville, you guys can inform if you need to add a little bit more context.
Yeah, no, there's always value added price you can add to the vehicle. So there's a service plan that you can add to the vehicle itself. It does come out with a warranty, but it does not come out with a service plan. The service plan is very affordable. We always, 90% of our vehicles, commercial vehicles, go out with service plans. Hence, because of the affordability and the value that you have in the service plan in itself. It's a must-have on the vehicle, but there's so many things you can do.
Currently, it does have a 3-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty and also 3-year roadside assistance.
Great.
So your service, normally all the vehicles, all the Ecos and the Super Carriers that go out here,
They go out
with a service plan, which is affordable. I don't have the figures here, but
No, it's
roughly
really
you will look
affordable.
at roughly about, I think for a 4-year service plan, 16,000.
About 16 odd.
Yeah, 16 odd.
Give or take, yeah.
Right, I think it's going to be Hendrik now.
Ek wil net graag. Goeiemôre, dis Hendrik hier van Pofadder. Ek wil net
Lekker
graag
poffies.
weet, wat is die grondvrye hoogte van 'n Super Carry?
Ground clearance, roughly about 170, 175, I think.
Yeah.
175, I don't know.
Yeah.
Never
No, I'm going to tell you now what the good ground clearance is on the Super Carry.
175 millimeters, I think.
I think what's also good to understand is how ground clearance is measured is from the lowest point of it. So yes, the lowest point might be 170, and usually it's around where the diff is or the diff on the axle. But you'll see there's quite a lot of ground clearance across it. So on the approach and the departure angles, even though those are not specifically specified, when you look at the profile of the Super Carry, you could actually see like how high it is from that. My understanding is that they asked about the Super Carry. Is that
Yes.
It's 175.
correct?
It's
Yeah.
175.
It's 17.5 centimeters, yeah.
175 centimeters.
175 millimeters, yeah.
Okay, so I think we do have clarity on that one now. That's for Hendrik in Pofadder. Where's Pofadder?
It's far from here. It's somewhere.
Sean, you know where Pofadder is?
Baie ver vandaan.
Okay, we've still got time for one. That's going to be Nicole. Hi, Nicole.
From Belleville. I have my own business and I just want to know how is the Eco going to benefit me in my new business?
Sure. she wants to know how's this new Eco. So we don't know what business she's got, but we think that she does have a small or medium business. So
yes, well, I mean, the way the world is going now, and online shopping becoming so much more prevalent, we are going to be finding a greater need for a small commercial vehicle versus a little scooter doing your deliveries for you. And I think we've seen with the large South African retail groups purchasing high volumes of Ecos especially, how important the vehicle is in making a sound contribution to our economy. So I think going forward, there will be very, very much more a need and demand for a vehicle of that design.
yeah, and I think also that her question was answered numerous times in our podcast now, and I think that of course every cent counts in the business these days, starting off a new business especially, and I think we're working with brands and Sense, we're working with Sense as well. So I think the fuel efficiency, number one, the reliability, I think we all can agree on that one. I don't know if you agree on that one.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
it covers a huge variety. Well, that's it, and we've come to have our time for today. And a big thank you to Sean. Thank you for always being
Great pleasure.
and also
Great
to
to be
Neville.
here.
Thank you.
And of course, Brendon, thank you for spending time. I know you've got a busy schedule of you. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Evan. It's a pleasure to be here, and well done on the good work that you guys as a dealer and a dealer group is doing.
Thank you very
getting
much.
the word out there.
Thank you very much, Brendon, and we hope to see you soon again. And to all our listeners, if you're looking for a reliable and efficient and affordable work partner, you can visit us at Meeco Suzuki Tiger Valley to check out our website. Until next time, keep driving the Suzuki way.